Hello, in this video I want to answer the question: is America, the United States, is it sliding towards fascism? Now, before I make the case that it actually in fact is sliding towards fascism, let me first address the counter argument. And the counter argument is that America never really was that land of the free, home of the brave. That what Trump is doing and his administration, more broadly speaking, they are just revealing America's true colors. They are just putting imperialism that existed previously out in the open. Some on the far left also have this tendency to say, well, the entire nation was found on genocide and ethnic cleansing of Indians. But okay, there is a difference between such behavior in the late 19th century and between doing it now. But okay, let me also throw another comparison. Like, what about all the American imperialist wars done in recent time, like Iraq, Vietnam? Well, the thing is, fascism is not simply when you do bad things like ethnic cleansing or war crimes. Fascism is a very specific form of authoritarian nationalism that glorifies the great leader. It is also very populist, or one could say it pretends to be populist. It is obsessed with conspiracy theories. It is also obsessed with fighting the enemy from within. It seeks to purify the nation by killing those that are not loyal or perceived not to be loyal to the nation and to the great leader. And it is also obsessed with returning to the golden past. For Hitler, that was either the First Reich, the German Empire, or the Second Reich, Kaiser Wilhelm's Reich. For Mussolini, it was the Roman Empire. For Croatian fascists, it was the Kingdom of King Zvonimir. So every fascist regime had kind of their own golden past, their own myth about it. And the Trump movement also seeks to return to this mythical past. It is not clear exactly what time period it is. Now, I would even agree that Elon Musk zig-heiling is not enough to call him a fascist. But what is more disturbing is that he recently called for all the judges that are not loyal to Trump to be impeached, many of them Republican judges even. So yeah, that's actually much more fascistic, because as I already said, liberal countries can also engage in imperialism and war crimes, but fascism is about crushing your internal opposition. And also, almost all fascist regimes are expansionist. Historically speaking, they have always annexed territory or seek to annex it. Now, many historians actually are comparing Trump with William McKinley. So, for those of you who don't know, he was the president of the United States in the late 19th century, and he was the first American president that actually decided to start the American colonial empire. So, while the great European powers were conquering Africa and other parts of the world, America was still fighting Indians. So yeah, we do not call that territory that was taken away from Indians, we do not call that colonial territory. That's just like the United States today. But yeah, after that expansion westward was finished, McKinley then decided to start a war with the Spanish, because he claimed to be liberating Cuba from the Spanish oppression. And what is true is that the Cubans did not want the Spanish Empire in charge, but they also did not want the American Empire in charge. And it wasn't until Castro that actually Cuba was fully liberated from the Americans. But he also annexed, William McKinley, he also annexed the Philippines, Guam, Puerto Rico. So he expanded American territory. And in the end, the American Empire was actually freed by the Truman administration after World War II, in order to show to the world that it is not only the Soviets that are against colonialism. But and one other reason why Trump is often compared to McKinley is they were both obsessed with tariffs. But yeah, what worked well in the late 19th century does not necessarily work well today. That is also something that Trump should realize. But the thing about William McKinley, as I already said, it is one thing to annex territory in a world where there are French troops controlling parts of Algeria, where there are British soldiers occupying India and China. It is one thing to start a war with Spain after you have just finished fighting the Indians and expanding your territory. But after World War II, annexation of territory, it became a taboo. Very few countries actually annexed territory after World War II. Only Russia, Turkey, Israel, and Somalia, and Armenia and Azerbaijan actually annexed territory. Maybe there is one country or two of them that I can't think of right now. You can tell me in the comment section. But yeah, so Trump claiming he wants to annex Greenland and trying to pressure the Danish people into it is very disturbing. Like, Europe could find itself between two great imperial powers trying to conquer it if America continues to go in this crazy direction. And also the Panama Canal. So some are comparing Trump to Theodore Roosevelt, that originally annexed the Panama Canal. But again, like, it is one thing to do it in a world where colonialism was pretty much the norm, and it is completely another thing to do it today. Then George Bush, like, one might compare Trump to Bush, but Bush did not have a cult of personality. And okay, what I'm about to say, it might seem controversial, but I actually do think that it is better to at least pretend you are spreading democracy and freedom than to just say, we want the oil, we want the minerals in Greenland. Why is that? Because after it was shown that George Bush lied, that Saddam Hussein was not in fact sending money and weapons to Al-Qaeda, and that he did not in fact have nuclear weapons, well, then that was the main argument against the war in Iraq. Like, you lied. It was not justified. And then later, George Bush started to claim, well, we were bringing freedom to Iraq. But then you can say, why are you then allied with all these dictatorships around the world? But if you just say, I want the minerals, I want the oil, I'm going to conquer you, there is no counter argument. There is nothing actually to limit your imperialism. As Hitler used to say, like, the law of the battlefield is the only law that he recognized. So in a world where you just claim that it is natural for countries to go to war and that the stronger country should hold the territory, there is no anti-war argument, actually. And that's what's so scary about fascism. That was the argument of all the fascist countries, that war is natural, and yeah, we simply live in a world where we fight for territories. We are back to the jungle, one could say. And let me give you another example of why pretending, at least, to have some principles is better than just fascist naked imperialism. Stalin, for example, claimed he was liberating the working classes of Europe, and also sometimes he claimed he was restoring the Russian Empire. But if you are going to justify your imperialism with spreading communism, then it is very hard for you to justify attacking another communist country pretty identical to you, and that was Yugoslavia. So there are still debates about why Stalin never attacked Yugoslavia. For those of you that don't know, there was this famous split between Tito and Stalin, and we are still not entirely sure why Stalin never attacked, but it could be because it was very difficult for him to justify such an attack, given the fact that Tito's Yugoslavia was ideologically at the time pretty much identical to the Soviet Union. So yeah, at least pretending to have principles is in fact, I would say, better. Now tell me in the comment section if you agree with me or not. And okay, if you like this video, don't forget to drop a like, share, and subscribe.